Thank you so much, everyone who has joined in. I know a few people here and some people are new. So, just to introduce myself, my name is Eilanit Gadkar. Okay, before I start, if anybody is not able to hear, you can just uh, raise your hand or just put it in the chat box. And I'm a personal trainer and a nutritionist. I run a company called ThePrimusWay, wherein we help people reach their health and fitness goals through virtual personal training sessions and nutrition consultations. So we are a team of 4 people. We are 2 co-founders and 2 trainers, 2 amazing trainers. I'm originally from Mumbai, shifted to Bangalore like 4 months ago. Why particularly PCOD is the topic that I have chosen is because that is something which is very close to my heart. I was suffering from it for a lot of time, and we'll get to the history and we'll get to what exactly were the issues. But at the same time, we also get a lot of members these days with the same kinds of issues, and what has worked is the lifestyle changes for them. So we will discuss about what is PCOD, what is PCOS, what are the distinct points that that are in both of them, and what are some of the factors that affect it, and how, though we know that there is no cure for it, but there are certain lifestyle changes that you do that help you mitigate the symptoms of PCOD. So let's talk about PCOD. So PCOD primarily refers to a condition where there are multiple cysts that get formed on the ovaries. Now, this is normally characterized by irregularized menstrual cycles, which can range from infrequent periods to absence of periods as well. PCOD is more focused on the physical appearance of the ovaries on the ultrasound and irregular menstrual patterns. Sometimes it also accounts to imbalance of hormones. Yes. PCOS is a broader term. PCOS is a broader term that includes not only the ovarian cysts, but also other metabolic and hormonal imbalances. Your hormonal imbalances are not with respect to just the hormones that regulate your periods, that is your estrogen, progesterone, FSH, LH, but these are also insulin resistance that is also there, and also there is a lot of symptoms, like there is excess of androgen, which is the male hormone, which you can see, excess hair growth in the chin and the neck area. There's acne, and then there is male pattern baldness as well. Insulin resistance and obesity are also common in PCOS. PCOD can also impact somebody who is looks fit or is slim, but PCOS can include insulin resistance as well as obesity. So the key, whatever it is it, so PCOS is a broader term, of which PCOD is a small part. Now, I'll just share the screen. You can let me know if you're able to see the screen once. Okay. Is everyone able to see the screen? You can just unmute yourself and say yes, because I'm not able to see you all.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So be it PCOD or PCOS, lifestyle improvements is shown to have visible effects. There are multiple things that come into picture. We are going to talk about it. And it's not like, everything has to be done at once, but baby steps in improving every aspect of it, one step at a time, is definitely important. So what are the lifestyle factors? Food is one of the factors for sure, because the food will give you nutrients to balance your hormones. It will also help you with insulin resistance. We'll get to it. Exercise, the most important factor when it comes to working out, when it comes to PC. You will see a lot of gynecologists suggesting exercises. Now we'll get to, it's not just exercises where you're talking about walking is an exercise. No, walking is a form of activity that is needed to be done on a regular basis. There are 2 kinds of exercise. One is a cardiovascular exercise, wherein you can do one particular movement for a longer period of time while elevating your heart rate, which can be swimming, which can be running, which can be doing a cross trainer in the gym or a rowing machine in the gym, something that you can do for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And particularly strength training. Strength training is when you are working on getting stronger. when you're lifting weights, putting your body under some kind of resistance to so that impulse helps you, get stronger. So when we talk about strength training, this is not only for the aesthetic part of it, for the muscle toning and the bone part of it, but strength training also helps you regularize your hormones. Yes, no stress is also a big factor, because most of the times you will see, somebody with food is on track, the exercise is on track, but the work life is, chaotic. There is a lot of stress. Uh, you will still end up, missing your periods that month. I think that is something that we have very commonly seen. I have also faced it. And sleep. Yes, sleep is a very important factor. Going to sleep on time, getting up on time, waking up without feeling sleepy, getting those 8 hours of sleep. Now, that is very, 8 hours is a number, but something can be very specific for you. Some people get amazing sleep for 6 hours. Some people, even if they sleep for 7 hours, 8 hours, they still feel sleepy. So there are a lot of factors that come into picture. So we will surely be discussing about, in the FAQ question, you can ask me how are some of the factors that help you go to sleep on time, because your stress and sleep are also related. Sometimes if you're stressed a lot, you cannot go to sleep. Sometimes it also happens that if you have exercised very late in the evening, there are chances that you may be awake. So we will talk about some of the factors that help you go to sleep in time. Let's speak about insulin resistance, because this is something that we have seen very commonly in PCOD and PCOS patients. Is what is insulin resistance? Does anybody know what is insulin resistance? If you can just unmute yourself and let me know, or you can just unmute and say, are we there? Is everyone there? Okay, perfect. So we'll talk about insulin resistance. So when you eat something, okay, so there is this hormone called insulin, which is released by your pancreas, that helps open the doors of the cells of your body so that the nutrients are absorbed into the cells. Very simple. So your insulin acts like somebody who rings the doorbell of your cells to let the nutrients, so that the cells open the door and let the nutrients come into the cell. Okay, so what happens is when you eat something which is very sugary, very processed, very simple carbohydrates, and you eat on a very regular basis, that doorbell person will come and ring the doorbell of the cells very frequently. And you know what happens when you keep ringing the doorbell very frequently? The doorbell gets kharab. It just, it will stop working. So what will happen is the same, that cell will not open the door for the nutrients to come in. You will need to get more insulin to come and knock at the door now. The doorbell is not working, you need more insulin. So say hypothetically, say 5 ml of insulin was earlier required to get those nutrients into your cell. Now it is, after some time, it's going to be 15 ml. So this is called insulin resistance, where your cells of the body are resistant to the insulin and not letting the nutrients come into your cells. That is when even the sugar level rises, because if you're insulin sensitive, once you eat something, it gets absorbed by your body, and the sugar levels, like they are elevated, they come down. That is how the body works. But with insulin resistance, because the cells are not allowing the sugar to come into the cell, it is going to keep the sugar levels in the blood high. So a lot of times PCOD, PCOS people are also, you will see a little pre-diabetic range. They will be slightly higher or towards the end range of pre-diabetic, diabetic sector of HbA1c. So what is usually given is, what I have seen is a pill called inositol, which is given to regulate the blood sugars, especially for PCOD people. And there is also metformin, to get your insulin sensitivity, to reduce your insulin resistance, so that it also helps you deal with PCOS. Metformin is, yes, given to diabetic and pre-diabetic people, but in PCOD, if there is insulin resistance, metformin is also given by doctors. Let's talk about how to improve the insulin sensitivity naturally. Just like we spoke about weight training and cardio workouts, both of them are equally important to improve your insulin sensitivity. The more you work out, your cells, your muscles, they're craving for the nutrients. So they will automatically open the door for the nutrients to come in. So that is where it's extremely important to start working out, include some form of weight training as well as cardio workouts on a regular basis. High protein, high fat foods with more complex carbohydrates is because, like we said, when you have something which is very sugary or which is very high processed, simple carbohydrates, they tend to increase the sugar level of the blood very quickly. And there's a chance of insulin resistance getting developed. When you include something which is high protein and high fat, good fats is what I'm talking about, the sugar levels will not rise so quickly because the entire digestion process of the protein and the fat takes time. Plus, protein and fat also helps you regularize your hormones which are FSH, LH, your thyroid hormones. These are all protein-based hormones. Your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone, these are sterone, which is fat-based hormones. So including good fats is extremely important when we are talking about both PCOD and improving insulin sensitivity for pre-diabetic people. Going into some of the examples that I can give you of how it changes from person to person. So Rupali, who was our client, now physical changes is something which is a byproduct of all the lifestyle changes that we do. But so Rupali used to take homeopathy pills and her cycle was 60 days. So she used to get periods once in 2 months. We focused on two things. One was regular workouts, which she used to do, and monitoring her food on a very regular basis. And what we see is once you change these lifestyle, it takes about 6 to 9 months, depending on your age, for your periods to regularize. It cannot be something that happens within a month or 2 months or 3 months. It has to be a part of the lifestyle. For example, even IFA, okay, we can see the belly coming in, but also her cycle, which was 45 and 50 days, went to a cycle of 28 to 32 days. So anywhere between 28 to 36 days is considered to be a normal. Average is like 28 days, but it can go plus or minus 5 as well, depending on person to person. To give you more examples, so this was Rupali, who was 27 at that time. Aoife was around 25 at that time. We had a client who was 32 years old. Now, at the age of 32, she had a proper PCOD, enlarged ovaries, wherein one of the normal ovary volume has to be between 4 and 6 ml. Her ovary volume was between 8 and 10 ml respectively, the left and the right. So we focused on the nutrition. Yes, the nutrition is an important part of it, and strength training. So strength training and cardio was, again, strength training was important because strength training is something that you do under the supervision of somebody. Cardio is something that you can keep doing for a longer period of time. After about a year, it took 9 months to get the periods down from 60 days to 32 days right now. What we also saw was whenever she missed a month of workout, that was the time her period cycle used to go to 40 days because it was accompanied with stress. And also, she was not able to get the time to work out. So though food was on track, but there was no workouts at all. That time, if we had something like a good lower body session, she used to get the periods on her same day. So yes, activity levels does make a lot of difference. So 9 months to get the period cycle down to 32. After about a year and a half, she did another sonography to test her insulin resistance. She was insulin resistant. She was on metformin. After about 1.5 years, we could see the changes in the ovary. The ovary size had reduced to 6 and 8 ml respectively. So I think Deepa has a question. Deepa, can you unmute yourself and please, you can ask. Okay. So I'll continue. Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah. For in the interest of those of you who just joined, Eilanit has been talking to us about PCOD, PCOS differences and how you can, manage and control with your lifestyle changes and habits. So if you have any questions, please.
Yeah. And we are going to have a bigger FAQ this time. So I know because this is something that a lot of people have questions with. So we will open up for at least half an hour of FAQs and we'll take it up from there. So before we go into, I just want to share a little bit of story about my, my story or my history with PCOS and how it's a daily struggle for me to keep those choices on. So I am 29 now, and up until the age of 24, I think the peak was 88 kilos. So I was like a huge obese person. My period cycle was 45 to 50 days, never on time, and always that person who at that particular time used to think that now I need to eat papayas on a very regular basis because my cycle is not on time. Never really had at that time, never really wanted to go to a gynecologist because the gynecologist used to tell me to lose weight, to start working out. I was not so much into fitness before. I had a desk job. I'm a computer engineer. I worked with a corporate for 3 years. In COVID, what had happened was I initially started as a Zumba instructor, and because we did a high impact exercise workout, like a Zumba workout for 4 hours, my lower back had gone into spasm in COVID itself. And what had happened was 3 months I did not get my periods at all because one, the food was extremely shitty. There was no workout. I was like completely rested. So, like we talked about, absence of periods or irregular periods. So that was what had happened. And my gynecologist, like they usually do, they started off with Primolute, then we went on to Novelon, and then there was something else that was given. Plus, you will also see there are some people face a lot of PMS issues. So for me, it was always extreme pain in the left breast whenever the PMS used to kicking. And because the cycle was not so much on track, the pain used to be for like 10-15 days at a stretch. So that's when it just, my husband was like, you have left your job, you're doing a Zumba instructor, you're getting into fitness, maybe, you should start working on yourself and, be inspiration to people to come join your session because then it doesn't make sense. So that's where I started my journey of nutrition followed by workouts. And I think since it was September of 2020, up to which my periods were still irregular, and my gynac had told me to do a test of the hormonal profiling, which included FSH, LH, uh, TSH, serum free testosterone, and prolactin on the third or the fourth day of the period. So that is where you usually do it. When everything came back to normal, I was like, let's just see if I stop the pills, how is it going to go? Because by that time I had lost around 17 kilos. And the food, yes, we worked on the food and the activity levels both. And plus it was COVID, so there was not a lot of stress that time for me because I had left my job and I was doing what I love. And then from September 2020, my period cycle, which was down to 32 days, is the same up until now. The only difference that I see is on days in months where I am extremely sick, or if I am extremely if I have had an accident like I did 3 months ago. So there's not a lot of movement that is there or something that I can do. In that month, my period cycle extends to 36 days. But if I'm working out, I know that I have to work out on a regular basis. I know I need to keep my food 80 to 90% right. I need to work on my stress levels. I need good sleep so that I can mitigate the symptoms that I previously had. So somebody who is, with PCOD, it is a daily challenge for them to do these steps on a daily basis. Obviously, one, to mitigate the symptoms, and two, because they're going to help you in the long run. It's not something that we do just to mitigate issues, but also to have longevity, have a better life when we are growing up, be off medications at the age of 60. So yes, these are the things that we do. So now I'm going to open up to FAQs. I'm going to open up for questions. Before I'm I'll open up for questions. There's a small request from all of you. So we have prepared a Google survey sheet because we want to improve and take up more webinars like this. And your inputs on that survey will help us understand what kind of webinars we should more do. So whenever you have the time, I'm just sending you the survey in the chat box. You can just open a survey. It is a small small survey of about 7 to 8 questions, and you can just fill it up so that it helps us make more webinars and address the issues and make our products accordingly. So I'm going to open up for questions. So you can just unmute yourself, ask, and if possible, just put on your videos. I would love to see you in person. So anyone, any questions, any queries, we can just go about it. We have about 14 people. Yeah. Yes.
I do have a question.
Yes.
You did say that lifestyle greatly impacts in all of it. Now, earlier, PCOD, PCOS was something that very few people did, like occurrences were very less, but now it's like every other person, has it. Does age determine this? Is there anywhere where age plays a factor? What is the youngest?
If you see, I have got a client. So honestly, I'll tell you, so I was about 15 years old, 16 years old when I understood that my periods were irregular. I have had a client who is 18 years old who used to get her periods once in 3 months at the age of 18. So it is very particularly lifestyle based because, like you said, something it was very not so frequent in the early times, but it's been more frequent now because also the times are changing right now. There's more stress. The lifestyle has changed very drastically. So what the right kind of people are, if you see the corporate people, especially even sometimes entrepreneurs, they do not have the time to get out of their house and start working out. Most of the times what happens is because there's so much pressure of work and so much there's no time to cook in the house, you will end up eating outside, and sometimes the outside can be a pure processed food. So yes, the lifestyle has changed, so there is no particular timeline or an age when it kicks in. Of course, when the puberty hits for a girl, you will also see one more thing that has happened, that the puberty age has decreased as well in the recent times. So whenever the puberty kicks in, because of these lifestyle changes or because the environment right now is such, it can happen at any time. I hope I have answered your question. How important is regular medical checkup and monitoring for someone with PCOD, PCOS? It's extremely important. If you have PCOD, PCOS, hormonal profiling, getting your hormonal profiling. Do you want me to write down the hormones that you need to check? So the gynecologist does give you this, but you check your FSH, you check your LH, you check your serum free testosterone, you check your thyroid hormones, you check your HbA1c. So HbA1c is a blood check that tells you the average blood sugar levels in 3 months. So get that checked because that will determine whether you're insulin resistance or resistant or not. So do it so that once you have that picture in front of you, you know what you need to work on. And if those are, and plus the ultrasound to check whether your ovary sizes are normal or not. Once you have that details in front of you, it is a clear picture that you need to start working on yourself. And then once you start improving, if you're not improving your lifestyle, it may be the same or it can get worse. Once you start working on those lifestyle changes that we spoke about, take a check again after 3 months to see whether it's improved or not. I hope I have answered your, Payal, I hope I have answered your question. Okay, no, sorry, Ragvi. Payal, my periods are irregular, but bleeding is only for 2 days. Is this normal? As per what I've spoken to a gynecologist, when there is, you know, right? So the uterus has a lining when it prepares for the baby, and when the baby is not, when the egg is not fertilized, that is when it comes out in the form of periods. So if the uterine lining is not thick, then the periods can last for only 1 or 2 days. So maybe, you need to, 2 days is not something which is normal, but most of the times these days it has happened like this. So I suggest you go and check with your gynecologist once, because this is what I had, when I worked with a gynecologist, this is what she told me, that because the fertility rate is slightly going down, the endometrial lining is not forming properly. That is why people these days are having just 1 or 2 days of periods. So I suggest you go check with a gynecologist if 2 days is normal. I hope I've answered your question, Payal. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. I am okay going through hormonal imbalance, and I want to know, I'm also going through how to improve more with physical activities. So, Shivani, if you don't mind, could you just let me know what are your physical activities right now?
Hi, ma'am. Good morning.
Hi. Hi. You can call me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yes.
I'm
Tell
just
me.
going through with the hormonal imbalance also. Periods are irregular for 2 or 3 days, and my medicines was also going on. And
Mhm.
I'm doing with the physical activities like exercise, yoga, and just taking a proper diet. But I'm
Mhm.
also just little bit some stress also. Okay, how we get to improve and how we get for something that in last year I got married
Mhm.
also. Okay,
Mhm.
so more chances to get now when you get pregnant, when you get the baby and all that.
Yeah.
These things
Yeah.
are going through also. So this is
Yeah.
so much stress in little bit in my mind. So I just want to know how to more improve hormonal imbalance and how to more to get in my previous lifestyle to get my irregular periods.
See, honestly, it is a daily challenge, or it's a daily choice that you do. So, say if you're, can you tell me, do you do strength training? I heard yoga. Can you tell me if you're doing strength training?
Yeah, I'm just doing just the Insta. There is a yoga class for hormonal imbalance. Okay, there's a one page where I do for 1 to 2 hours. There's classes going through. उसी से मैं help लेती हूँ और
Hmm.
classes चलती है तो उसी से मैं अपना balance करने को.
So when it comes to strength training, so one is yoga. So yoga is where, of course, there is strength involved in yoga. Also, there are a lot of breathing patterns. There is a lot of, holds that we do in yoga. But when I speak about strength training is when you are putting some resistance onto your body to get stronger against that resistance. Say, for example, today I'm not able to do 15 squats. Tomorrow, say after a month, I'm doing 15 squats, 3 sets very nicely. After that, my body weight squats are getting very easier. Now I'll take probably a dumbbell or a barbell, or if you're working out at home, you take a bag with some weights and start doing it. So strength training is something that you keep progressively overloading. So include some form of strength training, because again, strength training plus yoga is a very deadly combination. If you start both of it together, it's nothing like it. Having said that, like we spoke, that how much ever workout you do, how much ever your food is right, but if the stress levels are not managed, it's not going to work that way. Because so one thing is, if you can do some kind of either breathing or meditation to relieve yourself of those stress level, that would be great. One of the very nice examples that my onboard dietitian, she had explained it to someone facing infertility issues. She said that if it's the baby that you're talking about every day, maybe, and that is getting getting you more stressed, talking about when to have the baby or something like that. But sorry, maybe out of the entire day, you just take out that 10-15 minutes of the time, and just in those 10-15 minutes, think about that. Try to change your topics of conversations throughout the day, and just keep about that topic for just 10-15 minutes. So I hope I have answered your question. Because one is, you need to include strength training on a regular basis, and two, yes, you have to work on your stress levels, either in the form of meditation, either you can do guided meditations. Okay. There are a lot of guided meditations as well available. And then keep your topics of stress for those 10 minutes. It's a choice that you have to make on a regular basis.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
welcome. We have, can PCOD, PCOS affect fertility? Yes, it does, because PCOD may, the cysts that are forming onto the ovaries are the eggs which have not come out. So the eggs keep forming, right? It's not getting released into the uterus. So the eggs keep forming. There's no ovulation happening. So it will affect the fertility. Are there any natural remedies or supplements that can help manage PCOD? The 4 factors that we spoke about: exercise, nutrition, stress, and your sleep. So I am not saying कि आज के दिन पे you have to do everything at a go together. It has to be baby steps. First start working, say if sleep levels is something that you can adjust regularly, first start working on your sleep levels. Then start incorporating at least 30 minutes of workout, say 3 days a week. From 30 minutes, go to 45 minutes. From 45 minutes, go to 1 hour. Then start improving your nutrition. Take daily, small steps on a daily basis. This is a most natural remedy that you can do. There is no herbal tea. There is no one. If you see, people have a lot of, these things called a herbal tea for managing PCOD, PCOS. But that one herbal tea does not mean that you can offset the bad nutrition, offset a bad lifestyle. So I hope I've answered your question there. Thank you. Any tips to improve sleep pattern? Yes, there are a few tips that you can do. One, switch off your mobiles. No light on the bed. I also have a habit. एक बार bed पे चले गए तो reels देखते. That is going to affect your sleep levels. 2, sunlight exposure in the morning is very important to set your circadian rhythm. Because if you have sunlight exposure in the morning, that will ensure how good you sleep at the end of the day. So that is 2. 3, a warm water bath at night before going to sleep. So a warm water bath will help you calm down, will increase your blood flow, and help you calm down and put you to good sleep. And that is there. Even sunlight exposure, no coffee after 4 o'clock. Somebody who's having coffee regularly, coffee runs through my veins. But I ensure that I don't have coffee after 4 o'clock, because coffee after 4 o'clock will disturb your sleep at night. That is one thing. And if magnesium, if you can supplement with magnesium. So magnesium-rich foods that you can have in your dinner help you improve your sleep pattern as well. Or a magnesium supplement like a magnesium glycinate is good. But I think the first 5 that we talked about, if you start implementing them very regularly, it will definitely take care of it. So ferritin, if I'm not wrong, is iron, right? So one is, who was asked this question? So I'm Santhu, right? Ferritin deficiency affect from fertility. So my ferritin level is 1. So iron deficiency, yes, it will definitely, because a lot of times in pregnancy also, the iron tablets are given. So home remedy for irons, again, you have to check once with the gynecologist whether the deficiency is because of absorption or because you're not getting enough iron from the food. So for example, so there are a lot of iron-rich foods, and especially if you are a non-vegetarian, most of the meats that you have are iron-rich. Your eggs also, whole eggs I'm talking about, are iron-rich. So you have to check whether you're having them on a regular basis, and if not, you can start having those iron-rich foods. Or if you're having iron-rich foods on a regular basis, is there some sort of absorption issue in the body? You're having them, but it's not getting absorbed in the body. So I suggest you check it once with your doctor who has told you that there is a deficiency, and check whether you need to have more iron-rich foods or if the absorption is an issue. I hope I have answered that as well. Anyone else? I think I've reached the end of my messages. So anyone else has any question, any queries, anything that you want to discuss?
I just had something that I wanted to share here for all the members who've joined in. Eilanit has been hosting, yoga sessions on her key, and the last session she did was on a Sunday. It was a 1-hour beginner-friendly yoga. Just want to check here with all of you as to, if you all would be interested in joining Sunday yoga, the Sunday yoga club with Eilanit and her team. If yes, if you all could just drop a yes for us in the comments. That way it would help us to accordingly plan it and also host regular yoga sessions as well. As Eilanit said, having some form of physical activity and exercise is really important. So, you can start here on Herky with Eilanit and her team. If you would like to have regular sessions, yoga sessions on Herky on Sunday, please drop a yes in the comment. We'll figure out the time.
Perfect.
Kala, yes, you were saying something? Okay. All right. Okay. But Eilanit, for you itself, your journey with PCOD and PCOS, and you said you started as early as, in your teens itself that you knew. Was there, most of the times with periods in general, only when women are PMSing, there's a lot of stigma. Oh, she's on her periods. Oh, she's PMSing and everything. And with PCOD and PCOS, I can only imagine that feeling, that sentiment sort of aggravates. So how do you keep your morale up? Like, how do you boost your own, mental health during those times? Because it does take a toll on you when physically you don't feel your best. Exercise does give you those endorphins, but other than that, like, how else can you, be kind to your own self during this phase?
It's a very difficult question because honestly, maybe I struggle with it on a regular basis. Ek minute, I think the light. You can hear me, right, properly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so it is definitely difficult. I think I do struggle with it on a very regular basis, but something that helped me was definitely gratitude writing, for sure, because I'm just being grateful. Because there have been times when even, grateful for the people around you, grateful for all the members that have stuck with us for so many years and are part of our journey together. So one thing that I try is being grateful. Honestly, it's not easy. Like, I know I PMSed super bad on that one particular day, but for me, my husband is my punching bag. So I just tell him that, boss, today I'm PMSing, so you have to take care of me. That's it. So I just sometimes give in that day or just go watch a movie. So that is how I like to keep my morale high. Tell my husband I'm PMSing, you take care of me. But other days is when I get myself into work because I started ThePrimusWay for a reason. And when I see people coming back and telling me that, my periods have come back on track or my cholesterol has reduced, my thyroid medication has, it was this particular thing. Now it's very minuscule and the doctor is not wanting to stop it. So when we get such messages from people, I go back to thinking why I started this. So I just look back, I just go back to the reviews and I, put myself into work and start doing this on a regular basis. Treat myself sometimes with an ice cream, probably a protein ice cream. My cheat is like, if I'm having an ice cream, I'll have a protein. And if nothing is working, I just put on a 10 minutes non-sleep deep rest protocol of Andrew Huberman that I do. That is my kind of meditation. I just put it, I keep my eyes closed and I just go into a non-sleep deep rest. So meditation has worked wonders. I'm a dancer, so I cannot sit in one position for a longer period of time if I'm not doing anything. So sitting in one position even for 3 minutes for meditation was something which was extremely difficult. But when you start it with someone, when you have an accountability partner, when you are, just like group therapy, you have 4 or 5 people coming in together and sharing their experiences, you know that each and every one of us is going through the same experience. When you do it together, that's how I started my meditation. So now I can go like 30 minutes at a stretch. So these are some of the things that I do. I either tell the most closest person to me that I'm PMSing, you take care of me, and when he takes care of me and all. Or if you have a girl gang, I just go for a walk and, I just vent it out somewhere. So I think as a man is a social animal, you need that someone or, group of people to hang out with, vent it out and just, get it out there. Maybe have someone logical to make you understand. So this is something that has worked for me. I hope, was I on point?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Perfect.
next question is mainly because, a lot of, like you very rightly pointed, that the age for puberty has reduced greatly, right? Like girls nowadays
Yeah.
get their periods quite early on in their life. So there is a high possibility that, they are also subjected to the similar lifestyle, food habits and everything that
Yeah.
we do. So
Yeah.
young girls, how can we help them, regulate, keep a close watch on that, like, as mothers or like as sisters and things like that?
Honestly, start working on your own lifestyle first. I'll give an example. So one of my clients, she's 5 months pregnant. She has 6 kids already. Okay. So when she's working out with me, I can see her kids coming into the coming into the video, and they want to replicate the same thing that the mother is doing. And this is just one. When I was doing bent over rows with her, the kids, three of her kids were doing bent over rows on a smaller weight, taking the chair, keeping one arm on the chair and doing it. So when you start them early, as mothers, you have to practice what you preach. If you're telling your kids to have a better lifestyle, you better have a better lifestyle first, because your kids are going to replicate it for sure. For sure. If kids, one of other member of mine, she used to keep my phone keep the phone in front of her and is doing squats. Her kid on the other times used to replicate keeping her phone and doing squats in front of it, because you start them at a very early age. So if you want your kids to start working out, you start doing it, they will automatically come into it because the mother is doing it or because the father is doing it. Yes?
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Welcome. Somebody raised their hand, is it?
I think that was Dipali.
Anything else?
Dipali,
Any other? Yes, tell
Dipali,
me.
you want to ask a question? Please unmute yourself, or if you want to post it in the comments, please feel free to do that. Dipali, you can unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions? Any other queries? Okay, so just before we wind it up, I'm just resharing the links again. It would be really helpful for us if you take the survey, because we are gonna plan. I have already planned my next 2 sessions with Herky Marissa. So it would really help us plan sessions and take webinars accordingly. So I'm planning. So we have, I think, do we have Pavitra here with us? Do we have Pavitra? So Pavitra is here. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hi, can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
hi, yeah.
So Marissa, everyone here, Pavitra is a food scientist, and she's been associated with the PrimusWay for almost 2 years now, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And she's taken amazing sessions for us when it comes to the industry standards, how to read the labels, what are some of the risk factors, what are the things that manufacturers do, and all that stuff. So I think I'm planning with her to arrange one more session. So Pavitra, can you just thoda introduce yourself so that we can
Yeah,
get
sure,
for
yeah. Thank
next
you.
session?
Yeah, so I'm a professional food scientist. So I've been trained and I have a PhD in food tech. So I've studied for around 10 years on how to make these processed foods, packaged foods, and so on. I know that there is a lot of confusion or negative image about these foods, mainly because primarily a lot of brands are misusing that space, and at the same time, people are not clear about what is processed food, what is packaged food, and how to choose the correct processed and packaged food. So I just like to educate people around me about convenient and healthy and tasty foods, and I also try to work on it. Throughout my career, I try to see how I can associate myself with better packaged food and improve the industry. So with Eilanit and the PrimusWay, I'm also their client. I have been working out with them, and I have been doing a lot of strength training, and now I've started yoga. I was also with her for nutrition consultation. So and a lot of nice collaborations we have had. So I definitely look forward to talking to all of you about this space. And meanwhile, if you have any doubts, anything about processed packaged food, feel free to reach out to Ilanit. We'll definitely keep clarifying, and we will start, educating people around us to lead a better lifestyle. So that is something I'm looking forward to. As soon as she told me about it yesterday, I was like, okay, now I want to.
Thank you so much, Pavitra.
Sure.
Yeah, somebody had a question. Okay, I think Marissa, I think.
Yeah, we are right on
Yeah.
time as well.
Yeah.
I've also posted Eilanit's her key account link on the chat. So you can also follow Eilanit over there. She does make some posts on fitness and health. Eilanit has also shared her Instagram page and also contact number if any of you would like to get in touch with her. So please make the most of it. And yeah, thank you everybody for taking the time. I know it's the weekend, but you still joined in. Goes to show that you do take your health and the people around you, their health also quite seriously. So that's, I think, the first step. I hope the session definitely helped you all. And Eilanit, thank you once again for taking this time to do this. I mean, it does, there is so much information out there about PCOD, PCOS, about health, fitness, exercise, do's and don'ts, and all of it. And the digital era that we live in, because there is so much information out there, a lot of the information there is also unverified. So getting it from the right source is super, super important. So this session definitely greatly helped. And I think some of us got a little bit more insight into how small changes can impact and create a positive difference. Right. And I think that's like the big step towards taking control of your health.
Right. Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
thank you again. And we'll see all of you all again for the next session. Please do check out the Herky Sessions page to mark interested, and keep an eye out for future sessions from Eilanit and ThePrimusWay and her team.
Thank you so much, everyone who joined in. Last reminder, survey would be extremely helpful. And if you have any, if you have reviews, you can just drop it on Google. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a very happy weekend.